Want to listen to the podcast live? Head over to twitch.tv/CrossAtlantic Gaming and join us. You'll see some excellent gameplay by Chocolate Bear, even if he does say so himself. You'll see the podcast at weekends, and you may even see some beautiful highlights of some fantastic plays. Once again, twitch.tv/CrossAtlantic Gaming. See you there.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 93 of Cross Atlantic Gaming. I'm your host Risky the Kid, and joining me this week, as always, are my co-hosts Chocolate Bear.
Hello.
And Moose.
What's up, guys?
Happy week.
It's been a long week.
I was going to say happy birthday again, but that got real confusing last time, so I think I'm done starting shows with wishing people happy birthday.
Just with salutations in general.
Yeah, I think that's how we'll do it, I guess. Before we get into the show, we do have a free Patreon post that is out now. This is a reading of the classic child's book, Go the F to Sleep, narrated originally by Samuel L. Jackson, and this time around, it's going to be the bear reading it.
Definitely, and this is so much better than Samuel L's version, by far.
Much more British.
More pleasant sounding.
Less abrasive.
Yeah. Kids might not even know you're cussing at them.
Possibly. There was at one point that I just laughed myself through it, so yeah, hopefully it's not too bad.
We're also not suggesting that anyone play this in front of their children, because that's...
Oh yeah, Jesus, no. Especially the end 5 minutes.
Oh, God. So that's over at patreon.com/CAG podcast. That's free now. So go check it out. We also have an Apex Fails video, which I'm assuming is comprised of mostly just chocolate.
Unfortunately, yes. It is my my top 7 fails off the top of my head. But
Love it.
I loved it too.
I don't send you my bag clips, Bear. I just reload.
Well, I thought I needed to mix it up. I thought it was only fair to show people one week how awesome and great I was, and the following week to show them how poor I am.
That's honest. I like it.
Yeah, I'm all about transparency.
Good. We love to hear it. A link for our YouTube channel is also down in the description of the show. We are getting close to 100 subs on YouTube, though. And once we do that, I could just be like, go to youtube.com/CAG podcast. And that'd be much easier than directing you to a weird, obscure link in our show notes. So there's that. All right, guys. Another week in gaming. What have we all been getting into? Chocolate, we'll start with you. It looks like you wrapped up some games this week.
I wrapped up a few games. Yes, so Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is finished. It's in the bag. It is done. And oh my god, that's so sad right at the end of the game. I almost shed a tear.
That's good. Hey, it's good when video games can make you feel something. That's what I always say.
Yes, definitely.
So how long did it take you to finish this one? In total?
Took me probably a month to do it in a few sittings. I'm still yet to finish all the achievements, but that will.
Are you going back for them?
I am, because it's not too bad. So because it's a chapter select, you can go through and finish them off if you miss them.
Yeah, that's so much better when you finally do get around to finishing games, especially with achievements, when they have the chapter select option. Like, hey, chapter 3, you missed this collectible or something.
It's such a quality of life, or brilliant for achievements. However, there is one achievement which I'm stuck on, which is a pain in the backside because it combines chapter 1 with chapter 4. So you have to do something in the first chapter to then go back and kind of complete it or round it off in chapter 4. However,
Okay.
you've got to get that autosave. If you don't get that autosave link done, then when you go to chapter 4, you can't get the achievement. I know that sounds like really weird and convoluted, but
I would say you just said that and broke my brain a little. So
yeah. So you have to do. I'm trying to think of a non-descriptive. Well, this game's been out ages. I'll spoil it. You have to let out a bird in chapter 1, and then in chapter 4, as you're going through the level, there's a telescope, and then you cast your eye on a tree and another bird, and the bird you let free flies and goes home to his girlfriend or boyfriend or mother or father or whoever it is, and the achievement
significant
pops.
other. Or
Yes,
family.
it would have been the better word I should have used there. Yeah, so that's that. I just need to go through and round that off, and that's 1,000 G's done for the month of March, which is lovely.
That's nice. Gonna finish that one up nice and early in the month.
Yep.
Smart. The other game you're getting into is Halo. Is this the one you're going through with Chester?
Chester, yeah. So we've finished off Halo 1, the original Halo 1. So done, finished, completed. Good. First time I've ever gone through it, or through it from chapter 1 to all the way through to the end. And they used so many assets, or reused them, to make the game so much longer and so much padded out. It's amazing to go back. How old's Halo now? Just off the top of my head, what, 10, 15 years old maybe?
Real old.
Yeah, so just to show how much we used to be in this kind of world of reused assets constantly, just to pad out a game for you.
19 years old.
19. Oh, not even close, was I? 20 years almost. Yeah. So it was good. I enjoyed the story. And tomorrow we are going to, well, actually, day of the podcast, we are probably either going to do Division 2 and go through that, or start on Halo 2. So we should
Nice.
wait and see.
What are you doing with the Division 2? Or what are you planning on doing? Just continuing? Or were you...
Yeah.
That made it sound like you were starting over.
No. I think we're going to continue because we haven't done the zoo. And as far as I'm aware, I think the zoo is, I say free, but I use that term very loosely. It's part of the Season 1 pass, I think. So we're going to do the zoo for us to kind of gear up, get ready to then jump into New York and see how that goes.
Nice. Moose,
Yeah.
you went through that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that was all free with included in the first season of free content, right? Or was that actually paid?
I think that
season
was
stuff?
the season 1 stuff. I don't know if it was included or not. I think that it was. I think if you had the season pass for season 1, then you could play it. But I'm not sure if it was open for everybody. You're talking about the zoo, the college missions, and the camp one, right? Those 3 extras.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure whether we've done them or not. So it's just a case of going back, checking, and then seeing.
Yeah.
Because we bought the season pass maybe a month and a half ago. So whatever else the season 1 pass gives us.
Well, you've got to
go through that.
you got to pay attention to the college one because it comes and goes. Like it's not there all the time.
Okay.
So I think they're bringing it back here pretty soon, is what I read, so that people can finish out their exotic weapon build or something like that.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see. I think it's. I like the Division.
Yeah.
It's a good game. So yeah, it'd be nice to kind of, I suppose, change up the multiplayer with Chester, and we can bring Super Catrix back in, and 3 of us can go through that.
Yeah, I'd say you probably have 8 to 10 hours of content with just all the DLC from season 1.
Yeah. Well, will run us for 2 weeks.
There you go.
That's good. Yeah, happy with that.
Nice. Moose, you're playing a little bit of Pokemon Shield. It's been a while since that game came out. What brought you back to this one?
I've been trying to get back to it, and I just fall asleep. So
So are you playing not at like 10 o'clock at night right before bed?
I played it a little bit earlier. I took my Switch with me up to go skiing over the weekend, and I had planned on playing it up there. I just never had time. Having a just walking toddler on a split level floor plan is not ideal. So
That sounds dangerous.
it was more watching her at all times when she was awake. So I didn't get a whole lot of gaming time in, but I did get to, I was able to crack it open last night, and I evolved my Garuki. So he is now a Thwacky.
These names just keep getting better the longer the Pokemon is a thing.
And I'm still on my way to my first gym fight. So I just got out of the first city, and I have to go to the next one on Route 3 to,
So you
yeah.
you evolved your first Pokemon or your like starter before you even got to the first
Yeah, I
gym?
messed around in the wilds for a long time. Like I have.
I mean, that's you can definitely get stuck in there, so that makes sense.
I kept doing all, I wanted to collect all those Gigantamax max Pokemon because they seem to be much higher levels than all the other ones that you would find out, just in the regular wildlands. So I think I have like almost a level 20, some sort of electric lizard thing. Let me see what it is. Crowagunk. So yeah, and then I have a level.
I'm gonna be no help with the names from this
a level
game.
17 Timpole or Timepole. And a level 19 Stunky. So I believe those are all ones that I got out of the caves or whatever you call them.
Okay, yeah. When you go down into like I think isn't that like where the raid battles
Yeah.
are? When the red shining light is coming out of them.
Exactly.
And stuff. I haven't played that game in so long.
So yeah, it's fun. It's a good time passer for me while I've got Disney Plus or The Masked Singer or whatever the flavor of the week is in my house on TV. So.
Right.
Till I
So I
go
was
ahead, Barry.
sorry. I was going to say, do you guys want to hear something very poetic and brilliant?
Always.
From you, yes.
So, I might have built this up a bit too much now. But,
Yep. Can't wait.
yeah, me and my wife are watching a game show quiz, which happens at the end of the year over in the UK. It's called the this one was called the Show of the Decade or something, Quiz of the Decade, and they had some Pokemon on there. And the question was like, can you name 3 Pokemons, or can you name these 3 Pokemons? I got 2 out of 3. Was well happy.
I'm sure your wife was super thrilled about that.
Yeah, she wasn't overly impressed, but
Really proud
She
of
wasn't
you.
like,
I
take
was-
me now, Bear.
she was more like, can you get out of my house right now?
You need to take a time out outside
Outside. But
by yourself.
I was very proud that I managed to retain some Pokemon information and relay it, and was correct.
So you're excited for the next one?
Couldn't give 2. Should we move on?
So you didn't buy the DX game for $60 that just came out last week?
No.
That's like 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Listen, I love throwing away money, but yeah, I'm not going to be doing that.
Fair. Me neither. Are you interested in that at all, by chance?
I don't have
That's a mystery dungeon or
I
whatever
don't
it's
have
called.
any idea what it is, but not for $60.
It's like a weird watercolored Pokemon game where they like talk to each other and stuff, and it's
No.
it looks real weird. I never played it back in the day, but yeah, just thinking about dishing out.
So it's like Pokemon with dialogue? Probably not.
I don't even know if there's like catching Pokemon. I'm probably doing this game a huge disservice, but I guess I don't really know what it is. Besides, I saw Pokemon having like conversations, and it was all watercolored, and I was like, "Ugh, I don't know.
Yeah, and you can't do much more of a disservice than putting a 10-year-old game up on your shop for $60. So
Exactly. So perfect. All right. What else? Some GTA Online. I think we were
Yeah,
both
buddy.
dabbling in this a little bit this past week. What? Why are we back here?
because we need to finish a heist, just one,
just one of the many that have been started
right?
over the past
I
decade.
think this one, all we have to do is steal a helicopter, and we're ready to heist, right?
Yeah. So we're working on the Humane Society. I think that's what it's called. Maybe. Heist, and we're on the last little prep step, and it's steal a helicopter, and we tried it one night for a while, but we had like a set stop time, and that
Right.
came around, and we were so close. But yeah, we need to get together and try to finish that thing up.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've been playing that so much lately, but it's probably been my most played game the last maybe week or two.
You've been playing a lot more other than the heist, just doing your businesses and stuff, or?
Yeah, like I'm back. Well, I mean, I don't know how back I am, but like I know that the import export for vehicles this past week was time and or
Double
cash and a half.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch of that. I bought it's called the Cargo Bob. It's just a giant helicopter that can pick up vehicles. So that made the whole exporting and importing high-end cars much easier.
So does that add kidnapping to your rap sheet then?
Yeah, 100%.
when you magnet claw these people into the sky?
And that's what. So the first time I did it, it was there was a moving car and it was going like up north, so it was on a highway. And I grabbed the thing and I was like, "Well, this is kind of weird. So what happens to this dude who's in the car?" And I was like, "Is he just gonna like hop out at some point and like fall to his death or what?" So I flew him all the way back to my garage, and then as I'm trying to like land the thing, you just hear the car revving up and the wheels are just spinning. Like this dude knows that as soon as it hits the ground, he's out of
there.
here.
That's hilarious.
But luckily you have like your little yellow circle that you have to drop it, and it goes into an animation where it just kind of puts the car into the garage.
Oh, nice.
But if I had tried setting it down, that dude would have been gone. See ya.
But you could kind of like play with the mouse by his tail kind of deal. And just put the wheels on the ground and let them scoot away, and then, not that.
It totally could have done that. I didn't even think to toy with them like that. I think that's.
Did you pick up any like player cars, or were they all just NPCs?
No. It's all NPCs. I don't know, all the lobbies I have been in, because you have to do all your CEO work and most of your like the MC work, all that kind of stuff. You have to do it in open lobbies. Right. And when you're picking up a car, I think as soon as you pick it up, it gives you like 10 seconds. But then after that 10 seconds, it lets everyone that's in your lobby know that a high-end car is being transported.
Any kind of car. Because when I had to steal an armored truck for some kind of contents inside. And like as soon as I would steal the truck, there would be like 30 people on me just trying to blow me up with rocket launchers.
Yeah, and that's what it's kind of sucks at this point, is the people that are left in that game like have amassed so much money that they have like, there's this thing, I couldn't tell you what it's called, but it essentially is like a motorcycle that flies and has homing rockets. And these seem readily available to every single person that plays this game. So I ran into a couple of those dudes, and there's nothing like stealing this car, spending $30,000 to soup it up, to go deliver it, and then just having somebody shoot you out of the sky and know that you lost I think that's like $150,000 just tanked by some guy who had like, I think they get $2,000 out of that is what you get for shutting down someone else's operations when they're doing stuff like that. So you're not doing it for the money at that point. You're just doing it to be a troll.
Charge it to the game.
Right. So the game's still full of griefers, which is fun. But one tip, because I've obviously gone down YouTube rabbit holes and whatnot, that's usually a sign that I'm getting back into games, is when I spend hours Googling and YouTubing stuff. But a hint that someone had was to put your lobby type into free aim instead of like the auto aim. Because not a lot of people play in the free aim, and if they do, they actually have to be skilled with whatever weapon they're using to try to like shoot you down. So once I switched it over to that, the lobbies, it's like everyone got the memo. So when you got into those lobbies, it was all people just doing their own thing, like working on their own stuff, and it became a lot less stressful once that happened. But before that, not great.
That'd be nice to have in Sea of Thieves too. You're just trying to knock something out and just leave me alone.
And you just don't want to get just griefed on.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of that game, though, isn't it? Just
100%.
Yep.
There's people that set out with objectives, and then there's people who set out to ruin your fun.
Yeah.
I've been on both ends of that, and I mean, they're both fun. So I don't hate on people for trying to ruin my fun because I do the same thing to them.
Right.
So,
It just gets old after, the 12th time of being wasted.
yeah, and it's real bad in Grand Theft Auto because it'll spawn you like maybe a block
Yeah.
away, and that person
comes
can
and finds you
immediately
again.
see where you are. Yeah, and so that's rough. But overall, it's I don't know. I think it started because I had a rumor video pop up on my YouTube feed that was like GTA 6 online like details or info, like leaked info, and I was like, it is about time that we have a Grand Theft Auto game. It's been 7 years.
Yeah.
So I think if not this year as a surprise launch, next year at the latest. So that kind of just got me excited to be I don't know, just earning again and out there grinding in that game. I had so much fun. I put so much time into GTA Online.
I haven't even
I don't know. I'm ready for the 6th.
I haven't even scratched the surface with GTA Online. So, like I said, I have
there's a ton to
I
it.
have a motorcycle club, and I have a weed business and a coke business, and that's about it.
Yeah, and I think those two are tied within the motorcycle.
Right? Yeah, it's one of the
thing.
options you have once you open a.
There's
motorcycle
also like
club.
nightclubs, and you can buy bunkers, and you can buy. There's so many different ways to buy things and just maximize your profits each day. And like, if you didn't keep up with this stuff as it launched, even watching like videos hasn't helped me at this point. So I'm just sticking to what I
Yeah.
know, and that was always the import export of vehicles. Kind of just my niche for now, I guess.
Have you jumped back into any races yet?
Not unless it's been like for fun with friends or
okay.
something. That I know that's how I kickstarted my
I
career.
was gonna say,
but
did you make a name for yourself on those streets?
yeah, I think I got like a 50% win rate, which when you're racing against 10
Yeah,
other people
that's
isn't
really
too
good.
bad. So it's the races I enjoy now seem to be like stunt races with just giant jumps and just
Right.
stupid loop-de-loops that don't make sense because that's when I'm having the most fun. So
Nice.
yeah, GTA Online. I've been having fun with it, and I'd love to finish up one of these heists because over the past 7 years I have not finished one.
I know I have
So
2 partially completed with you.
I now have 3 partially completed because Lewis and I started one at some point. The most recent one because I heard that you could do that with 2.
Oh, you can do
So
a
we
heist
started
with
that up.
just 2 people?
Yeah,
nice.
I mean apparently
The casino heist?
yeah, it's the casino heist, and it's set up completely different than the other ones, which is kind of cool. Like, you had your set in stone for like prep missions,
Right.
and then the actual heist. But in this one,
There's like a bunch
it's
of different
completely
ways,
up-
right?
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 different ways to do it. You can do like stealthy and quietly. You can do like it's called the big con, where you like dress up as workers
Ocean's
and all
11
that stuff,
deal.
or you can just be exactly, and then you can just be super aggressive.
Just
But before you do all that, you have like a to-do list, and then you have an optional to-do list where the more info you get about the place, like
better or easier.
exits
it'll
in the
be.
back, or like if you get pictures of the keypads, pictures of the security cameras, a bunch of stuff like that, it helps increase your chances of having a successful heist, I guess. So
And probably the amount of
so
money
good.
that you take away as well.
right. So I haven't really looked into like logistically how that works out. Like if I spend this much time and money doing this, is it really going to be worth
Right.
it? Like the extra 45 minutes to knock out these couple extra things, is that going to be worth my time? So
Cool.
it's yeah, it's been fun. It's weird that I'm playing that game
But
now
you know,
for some
with
reason.
that
but-
last heist, it was content from December, so it's virtually brand new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And once I get that done, I'm sure I'll have an update. Or once I get any of these stupid heists, I'll have something to talk about again in Grand Theft Auto. But for now, I'm just kind of, I'm waiting patiently for GTA 6. Like all the stuff I'm doing now, I know it's not really helping me in the long run. Like I can buy some stuff, but as soon as 6 comes out, it's like everything becomes irrelevant
Right.
from this game.
In
And
most games,
I'm not too worried about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've just been having fun.
You're gonna have to break out the garbage monster again when 6 comes out, huh?
Yeah, I think I haven't taken a day off for a video game in a while, but that'll be one for sure. Yeah, anything you wanted to add about GTA?
Nope. I just need to play it some more, but I need to get back into my backlog and knock another game off my list. So
Oh, we're still working on New Year's resolutions?
Well, I set goals to achieve them, not just, throw them in the trash.
I just set them to please the people.
To appease.
That's it. So, yep.
There you go.
If I said I don't have any, the people would have been mad. So, I had to say something.
Fair enough.
Yeah, looking at your list, you haven't done one game.
I did The Last of Us. Or
Wait,
not
what?
The Last of Us. Nope, stop. I can't think of the name of it. What's the game I finished? Life is Strange 2.
There you go.
I did knock
Okay.
that one off in February, a couple days late, and then didn't do anything in February. Time flies when you're having fun, guys.
All that Destiny's just wasting your days away.
Exactly. And we play to have fun. That's why we're here, right?
We're not good.
Not to check boxes. Teach their own.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a whole debate for a whole nother podcast, probably. All right. Other than that, I have some more games to talk about, I guess. But that is because I went to PAX East this past weekend. Just got home. I got home late Sunday night. Went on Friday and Saturday, or Friday and Sunday, excuse me. And it was a weird PAX. Like we had talked about the week before I left, that Sony was pulling out and Capcom was pulling out. Kojima Productions wasn't going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There seemed like there was a ton of people pulling out of this, and obviously that's kind of a scary thing when you spend your money and you make these plans like months ahead of time, to then have people pull out. It's kind of like, they don't owe you anything, obviously, but like, give me something for free, or
Yeah.
but that didn't happen.
No, they didn't try to accommodate for all the, exhibitors not being there, or a good amount of them.
Yeah,
Well-
and it was weird because it's it's a video game / board game thing. It's always just kind of been split like 50-50 down the middle, but you could just see board games like seeping into the video games this year because they had so much open space, and a lot of the exhibits, I'm assuming, were way bigger than they were supposed to be initially.
Right. They paid for this much space, but now you guys have this much space.
Right, like that new actually, I don't know if this is in our news. No, it's not. Or maybe we talked about it last week. That new game from Harmonix, it's called Fuser. It's like a DJ game. If you guys have seen anything about that, they had what was essentially like a DJ set there with like a giant stage you could go take pictures with, and they had like employees up there like spinning beats and stuff with a controller, and literally probably 1,000 people at one point just all crowded into this one section listening to some guy make beats with his Xbox controller through that game Fuser. So there was some weird stuff like that, which were just absurdly large for how big they probably needed to be. Or another one was like Animal Crossing. They had a humongous area that was just for like photos with Animal Crossing statues and stuff.
Figures and put your face through here, stuff like that.
Essentially, yes.
That almost sounds like they didn't know what to do with the extra space and didn't bring anything else. Quick, guys, let's get some cutouts.
Yeah, 100%. And the worst part of all of this was that, like, as these places were announcing that they weren't going to be there, none of them really, like, hit home for me, where I was like, oh no, Kojima Productions isn't going to be there, like, PAX is going to be ruined because they have Death Stranding, and I don't think they're working on anything. Like, as far as I know, they're not working on anything else right now. I mean, Sony not being there was kind of a bummer because they were going to have The Last of Us 2, the actual demo there, the first playable demo, so I was pumped for that. That obviously didn't happen, but I was excited for Microsoft and Xbox. Well, it turns out that Microsoft didn't go to PAX South, which was a few months before this, and apparently never even had plans to be at PAX East. So I went looking for Xbox and Microsoft, and they were nowhere. And I was like, what is happening? Why?
So was it just like a lot of indie devs and PC games, or?
Yeah, I guess like a lot of it was like PC parts, like people
wow.
like Corsair and companies like
Right.
that sell peripherals. They would have like stations set up, but they'd just have like Apex on them or Call of Duty or something. It wasn't like
Yeah.
new stuff. It was just, hey,
Come check
this
out
is
our
this
new
game
mouse.
on our hardware.
Yeah.
Right. So it was that wasn't great. And then as far as indie games go, I would say there's probably just as many indie games as there normally is. It just felt like a little bit more because that's primarily what was there. Square Enix had a giant chunk of space for Final Fantasy 14, which is their MMO. So there was a ton of space, and the lines for that were huge. And I was like, you guys know you can just go download this at home for free.
Right.
Or I think there's a monthly sub with that, actually. But either way, that was kind of weird. And then they did have Final Fantasy 7 there.
Oh wow.
But you had to get coupons for specific times during the day, which in some respects makes a lot of sense, but
Right.
in others it was kind of like we didn't get there early enough to grab tickets, so no matter what time we went during the day, like we just weren't going to get in regardless because they had already given out X amount of tickets. But then like if people don't show up because they got busy or whatever, it's like, well, then what do you do?
Right.
We didn't go back to actually see what happens. But
So they had like fast passes basically for all the times slots during the day.
yeah, it's exactly what it was like.
Makes a load of sense, as you said, but I suppose
Yeah, they should have some sort of like singles line or something like that. That if somebody doesn't show up, you're the next person in
Yeah.
line.
Yeah. And like I said, they might have had something like that for like if they couldn't fill out times, but I feel like there was always enough people around there that they probably just did pick some people up. But I'm not about to sit there and wait for hours for someone to not show up for their time slot or whatever. Like it's nuts.
yeah. Well, there's so much more to see and do. Well, I say so much more.
It wasn't. It was still like a great PAX, and even if I knew the Xbox wasn't going to be there, I knew that everyone was going to be there, I would still go 100%. There's still enough games there to consume your time for at least the 2 days that I go. So plenty to play, but I think it was just kind of, I like having the option for some of the bigger stuff that's there. Kind of when you're just going from like indie to indie, a lot of them start to blend together too, which is weird. Like you see a lot of 2D platformers that all kind of look the same, but maybe have one little gimmick that's a little different. And obviously we play a lot of games like that as well. So like it makes sense. I don't know. I think this was my least favorite or least fun I've had at PAX. Just because it just seemed different. Like the big people weren't there, and that kind of sucked. But
what are you most looking forward to from PAX?
So I can definitely talk about at least a couple games. I got to play Wasteland 3, which I know is coming out in May.
Did you go to my house?
May. No, but they did make comments about your city, so that was kind of funny. It was like, "Go, rich boy, back to this place," and I was like, "Oh, it's Moose."
Oh, jeez.
So that was kind of funny.
They have trailer parks here.
Well, I didn't visit any of those in this game. No, so I mean, I wasn't overly excited for Wasteland 3. Coming into this, I tried playing Wasteland Remastered because that came to Game Pass, and it's on xCloud not too long ago. It was like a few weeks ago or something. And I tried playing that one night, and man, it might have like remastered graphics, I guess, but just trying to play that game in general, like without the mechanics being changed at all, I gave it maybe like 45 minutes, and this was me like trying, like keep pushing, like it's gonna get better, and I could not do it. Not even close.
This is like XCOM type game, right?
The actual combat is, as far as the whole walking around part, it's more something like Divinity, where you're just kind of walking around, searching things, tons and tons of dialogue to read. If you ever played the old Fallout games, which these are the people that made it, so that would make sense. Fallout 1 and 2, it's definitely a lot like that. And I don't know, something about it didn't hook me at all. With Wasteland 3, though, you can tell that they have a lot of money going into this game with the backing. I think
That's Xbox, right?
Yeah, it's Xbox, but then they also have Deep Silver, I think, I don't know if they're helping develop it or something. I don't know. It just seemed like way more polished than the older games. Like everything that I saw looked like super good. And the combat is a ton of fun. As far as moving your squad around, you can obviously pick who goes where and whatnot like that. And then there's also the whole RPG side of it where each character has different slots for armor. They all have different abilities. Like a sniper will have, and I don't know if I ever saw this in XCOM, but the sniper actually can target certain areas on the body of an enemy, which is kind of cool. And then depending on where you hit them, it'll affect it differently. So that was cool. The dialogue, it's all voice acted, which thank God, because there's a decent amount of talking. There's a lot. It seemed like there was a ton of choice. It was only one mission we got to do, but like Lou and I played it in
Together?
On two separate machines, like next to each other. And I got to parts in the map while I was trying to get to the end point, like completely different ways than he did. And even then, my dialogue at the end was different than what he chose, I guess. So it seems like there's a lot of choice, and your choices are actually going to matter in this game, which is great.
Did you was it the level you played where you kind of roll up onto the back of a factory? You kind of almost head straight into a fight. You go up a snowy path. Just wondering to see if it's the same one I played in XO.
It definitely was a snowy area, though. I don't think we didn't come up on a fight. I don't think, though. Did you talk to a purple-haired dude at the very end of the mission?
I couldn't get on with it too much.
I was going to say chocolate at the end of the mission.
There's no one there to carry me, man.
Need some better squad mates.
Yeah.
It might have been then.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how to check
Did
that.
they
but
let you mess with any of the multiplayer functions at all?
No. So, and I didn't see it till it was too late. But we did have an option to either play it solo or
together.
I feel like it said co-op.
Gotcha.
So, we'll be interested to see how that's going to work. Just if each person has control of a couple of different people or something
or
like that.
It's
weird when
you bring a buddy in and they permadeath one of your favorite characters.
Exactly. With the turn-based games, it's just kind of weird because somebody's always going to kind of be sitting there like, okay, now I wait until it's my turn, which obviously you can be planning and stuff like that, I guess, in your head. But I don't know if I'd want to co-op a game like this.
Sure.
Action games more like something like Diablo. I think that makes sense.
Actively be doing something.
Right, but even like I'm gonna say Divinity, but I've never given that game a shot. But I know like Kaboski and Castle and those guys have a like co-op campaign that they're doing. I just don't know what the combat looks like when you're all in there, because I think you have to wait like for your turn.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody can fire off at once.
Right.
At least that doesn't make sense to me. But someone correct me. I'm probably wrong about it.
In my brain, it looks like team chess, which seems difficult.
Right. So kind of weird. So that was, I think I'm most excited about that just because my level of excitement going into it was nowhere really. I was like, cool, it's free, I'll try it out. But now it's like I wanted to play the next mission. Like I was ready to keep going after my demo ended. So definitely excited about that one. This one, you both should be excited about this. There's this game called Totally Reliable Delivery Service. This is made by the Human Fall Flat people.
Okay.
And you can, like, it's the same character models, essentially. Right. They move pretty much the same way. They definitely made an actual jump button. You use the RB and LB to lift your hands up and down instead of having to, like, tilt to look up and down now. But the point is you get dropped into this big, at least as far as I could tell, it's a big open area. And then what you have is these kiosks where if you pull down on a lever, a package comes out. And then what your objective at each one of these kiosks that you roll up to is to bring that package from point A to point B. And then how you do it is going to be completely up to you. And then these little kiosks, like I said, are just kind of all over the world in different places. So you kind of can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and then tackle these problems or tackle delivering these things however you want. But I demoed it as a 4-player co-op game with Lou and 2 other people, and we laughed so hard. Nice. It was just like playing Human Fall Flat for the first time with other people, and like you come so close to dropping something off, and then someone does something stupid, and just everyone was laughing. It's you can fly helicopters in this game, and just imagine trying to fly a helicopter with one of those Human Fall Flat people. Like it's just, it was a ton of fun, and I think this is going to be improving on the formula of that game.
Right.
Maybe not it's like having your puzzles in a bigger, more open area where more ridiculous things can happen as you're on your way to solving said problem.
Okay.
So
wasn't there a game that was supposed to be out around this time that you played last year that was similar to that, like called like The Movers or something, and you had to like help people move furniture out of their house?
Yeah. So that game reminded me of Overcooked.
Okay.
So that one seems a lot less. I was just gonna say floofy. That's just
Doughy.
kind of the word that came. Yeah, like dough. Exactly. Feels a lot more like Overcooked and a lot less like Pillsbury Doughboys running around, getting stuck to each other.
Or Octodad.
Exactly. Precisely. So yeah, I think that one will be fun. Definitely a good party game. I only saw 4 players. I could definitely see it going up to 8 since their last game did, and there's enough stuff to be doing in that world. To have that be more people than that. All right, I'll talk about 2 more quickly. Fall Guys. Think of character models a lot like the Human Fall Flat guys, just kind of like little squishy. I think
we saw this on
Did we see this?
The game show or Game Awards, or maybe a kind of funny.
You start with like 100 people, and then you're doing a type of like obstacle course race, and then at the end of that, it's like half the competition gets wiped out, and you just keep going from round to round, losing people as you go until you have like one winner. And I didn't even get to play this.
Wipeout, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's like Battle Royale Wipeout.
A mix of like Wipeout and Lemmings.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I didn't actually get to play this one because the lines were huge for it every day because they had a ton of space set up for it. And for whatever reason, that just makes everything take long because they went through like a whole entire games as well. So I think that's probably why. But they'd have like first you'd be running up this hill or whatever, and then a bunch of obstacles are coming down towards you, and the first like 50 people to the top win, go on to the next round. And then another game mode I saw is where half the people start off with tails like on their back, and then when the round ends, whoever has tails on them at the end move forward. But what you can do is you can run around and grab them off of people. So you're going to grab the tail and then try to play keep away essentially, and it's like half of those people are going to move on to the next round. It just seems super silly, super fun. Another great party game.
And every person is a live character, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And they all have names above their heads, so you can tell who's doing what, who just stole your tail, or who's right ahead of you in the race. So having a party of like 16 people trying to play this game, it seems like it's just going to be fun. Definitely look it up. And I think you are right about it being debuted at Game Awards.
Okay.
Or at least being talked about there. Sounds like
I
we're
think
talking
we
about
saw like a short trailer of it during the Game Awards.
So those 2 look fun. And then a more serious game, or more like AAA level game, I guess, is this game called Disintegration. They had a really awesome setup for a booth. So it's a competitive first-person game where you control an aircraft, and then you control ground units. But what you do when you get up to this booth, it's 5v5, and they had 2 game setups. There's 20 people in total. What they do is they take 20 people from line and then put them into like a mini like stadium where there's a TV that's going over the game, going over how it plays, and giving you a little tutorial, that kind of thing. And then when you're done watching that, the 20 people that are outside will have finished up their game, and you kind of move out. So it was nice having 2 steps to it, I guess. So you didn't feel like you were just standing there forever. So this game is the game mode that we got to play is kind of like a control. It's like there's 3 objectives or 3 points, and whoever stays on them the longest and gets kills while you are up a base or capture point or whatever is going to get more points, obviously. And this game, it was just super different because you have your main like aircraft, which you control. It's going to have different types of missiles and launchers and that kind of thing, but then your ground units are also going to have like special abilities, and they have this RB. You just kind of point where you want them to go with RB, and they're the people that actually take the points, if that makes sense. So they're the ones that control the area, so you kind of need to guide them towards it, and then you have to also protect them from other people that might be flying in trying to kill them. And then they have abilities where they can put up like force field bubbles or like bubbles that slow people down, or you can just straight ask them to like DPS an incoming other player who's in their like jet thing. They're kind of like speeders, like a single person fits in them. I don't want to say like a jet or an aircraft carrier or something huge. They're more smaller and more agile. But that's another thing, is they also have all different types of ships that you can get. So there are like super agile small ones that don't have a lot of armor, and then there's just the big tanky ones that could like sit on a point, say with heavy ordnance, and just blow stuff up that way. And this was just one of the game modes. Apparently there was a bunch more. They also have a whole full-fledged single-player campaign where you're actually going over like the fall of man, because what's happening here is that people's brains are being put into robots to preserve like humankind. So you're going to go through a whole story with your like main squad or whatever, and then there's a whole multiplayer aspect as well, which is cool.
So does it feel like Titanfall, or?
It kind of. I think that's probably the thing that you can
relate it to,
compare it to most, except for you're never gonna be just a pilot, like outside of your mech.
You just control pilots, right? Underneath
you control, right. You control the ground units that can do different things. Actually, that's a good call.
I'm just watching a video of the alpha real quick while you're talking about it.
So I thought that was probably the one game that stuck out where like this might be big and mainstream at some point, once it comes out, once it has a little more press on it, because I don't think I knew about this going into it, and then there was just this giant booth and tons of people there, and I was like, all right, well, we need to sit and see what this is. And look it up. Disintegration. It's definitely unique as far as like a first person shooter / flight game.
Right. Yeah, it's like a mech type
game,
right?
like a flying mechs, because you're never on the ground, and you can mess with your altitude, and all your different weapons and stuff. And then just having different factions. I think they said there's going to be 10 in the game. We had 7 to choose from there. And they all seemed very different when you're picking your people. And you can switch mid-game as well. If you want to switch to a different faction or team with different ground units and whatnot, you can do that. So I think once you know how all of them work,
right,
that'll be pretty awesome. Our game came down to a tie-break on a point, and it was just the most hectic thing ever. We all had headsets on, so you actually were like communicating with the people on your team during the demo, which was pretty awesome. The whole thing was just super well done, and the game was a ton of fun. So that may have been like my best experience as far as a game goes at the show. Cool. So definitely keep an eye out for Disintegration when there's more info on that. I'm assuming they'll have a beta. This definitely seems like a game that needs to have a beta, needs to get stress tested, and have some stuff worked out. But
they actually had a open beta January 31st through February 1st is what this article said.
Okay. So a bunch of people probably already know about it, and I've just been in the dark. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you check out Doom Eternal at all?
The lines for Doom Eternal, because that was like the one big AAA game
and it's going to be out in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
But that was the thing, it's March.
I can tell you right now. I've written it down, funny enough.
What is it?
It is March 20th.
Okay, yeah. So that was, Lou and I kind of looked at it. You look at the line, you look up the thing that says coming March 20th, and you're like, probably not. Like,
Not worth
I
the
know I'm
time.
gonna get the game,
Right.
So do I need to sit in this line for what was probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Just to affirm that it's going to be fun.
Just-
and, yeah.
Right. And that's the one thing is you can always just kind of sit there and watch people playing it. And
Yeah.
at that point, you know what you're getting into. Like it's the sequel to Doom. It's
Oh,
it's not going to be super different.
Yeah.
Did you look at West of Dead? Or have a look for it at all?
I don't who makes that. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it was a game at XO19, up your street completely. So roguelite, Metroidvania. Oh my god, isometric had all the
All
the
those
bells and
buzzwords.
whistles. Exactly, it was brilliant. It was you were. Oh god, I can't even think who you were now.
Oh, okay. This is in my Google search history.
Yeah,
So-
wasn't the beta of this in Game Pass? That's where we played this.
Yes, it was out. Was it in Game Pass? Or you
Yeah.
had to, yes, it was free.
It came
was
out in
free to
November,
play.
Bear.
Is it actually
The
out
initial
now?
release
It
date
can't-
was
November
November
14th.
19th. Yeah, November 14th, 2019.
Oh,
it looks
I
like
need to go back and get it.
what was that pinball game we played?
Yakuza's Island?
No, no, Yoku's Island.
Yoku's
which
Island.
that's exactly where my head would go if I said pinball
Yeah,
game.
That's the only one I know.
No, we had it for Game Pass. Where you
Oh,
deflect
yeah. The well.
Oh.
The creature in the
Creature in
well.
the well.
Creature
There you
Well.
Uh,
That's it.
The graphics in West of Dead remind me a lot of Creature in the Well.
Yes.
I remembered. I think this must have been E3 that I first saw this, and I definitely thought it looked awesome. I didn't look for it though because I did not have that in my head, and I must not have walked by it if it was there.
I want to say that during XO19 they released the beta and the Game Pass, and so I messed
Yes,
with it for a day
it
or two.
was. Yeah, I think it was within the first. I think it was the week after or something daft.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to have a look. I need
May
to
still
pick it
be
up
in
because
there.
I enjoyed it.
But yeah, I mean that was just a few of the good ones I played. There's some other ones, but I'm gonna write up a Patreon post for the month of March. Yep,
Nice.
month of March. Going over some of the games I played, when they're coming out, who's developing them, all that fun stuff. Maybe just some games that people may not have heard of that they can get excited about, because that I definitely did run into that a bunch this week. As much as the whole convention kind of felt like a letdown, I still got to play a lot of awesome games that I've never heard of, probably never would have heard of, made by a lot of smaller developers. And I think that's always a ton of fun because they're always super personable, which is awesome. Like, obviously, if you go to Doom, you're probably not talking to someone who developed the game. You're talking to like a PR person or someone who's literally just there working the event, and that's it. But a lot of these smaller devs, it's like them and one of their friends there
Right.
or something, and they're always willing and wanting to like talk to you and get your feedback, like how can I make this better, or like just how do you like the game. And having those more personal conversations with people, it's always you're not going to get that from bigger AAA spots. So
Right. And this show kind of is like make or break for a lot of those indie guys, right?
I would assume so. Yeah, like
You know, they're just depending on lots of people seeing their game and getting hyped for it, and you know, starting a buzz.
and that's why because for a while when people started to drop, I was like, what are the chances they cancel PAX? But
Right.
it was so close that I was like, I doubt they'll do it. But in my
I
head, I
don't
was
know
like, that
how close
must be,
it was, Risky.
I'm sure I'll find out later here.
Yep, more in the news to come.
But yeah, it was just kind of like, if this gets canceled, like the PAXs,
Right.
I feel like are huge for smaller devs. So it's like, if that gets canceled, what do you do? Like, there's so many video games out there trying to be sold every single day, or so many new ones popping up all the time. It's like, if you miss that, it could be detrimental for sure.
Just hope somebody sees your Kickstarter, I guess.
Exactly. There's lots of that going on there.
Yeah, I bet.
And yeah, I always take the ones I'm interested in. I usually just grab the business cards, and then when I finally get back to Syracuse, I kind of dump them all out, and it's like, all right, what's worth looking at here, looking further and maybe getting excited for before it comes out, and I hear about it months after it's already out, that kind of thing. So
Right.
yeah, PAX was good, and that's me done talking for the whole episode. So
Well,
you're welcome.
You could have just attended the very last video game conference known to man. So congratulations.
Well, I'm glad I was there then. All right. Well, before we do get into the news, well, first of all, you guys didn't have anything else to talk about game wise. You guys good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yep.
Good. This is a Game Pass Roulette episode, so let's get into some Game Pass Roulette. All right, so our current Game Pass Roulette game that is now ending was Fishing Sim World Pro Tour.
Yeah,
yeah.
buddy.
There it is. I was looking for some excitement.
Fire up that bass boat and get out there.
Yeah, so I think most of us and people that decided to play in the community it did a lot less of exploring the game as a whole, and a lot more of just going to Miller Lake and searching for the biggest fish.
Yeah, just find the honey hole.
Right, and with this type of game, I think that is completely warranted and completely fine.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
That's what you're supposed to do in fishing anyway. So
exactly.
that's what the idea of the tournaments, like in the single player mode, because I mess with it a little bit. That's all you do. You try to find the heaviest fish.
And that's what you do in real life. So why
Right.
wouldn't you do that in a game?
Exactly.
Guess that makes sense.
Good old fishing derby.
Yeah, buddy. So we did have a contest going on. It was, you had to be on Miller Lake. You had to use default tackle boxes, whatever you could find in there to help you along your way. And we had an early submission from Chaotic, who I think he put out like a 20-pounder or something like that.
14
was-
or 16.
Oh, was it? Okay, so it was under 20. It
Yeah.
was,
let me go back.
I bested him by like 10 pounds.
okay. So it kind of started there, and we were like, all right, well, one of us has to top this. It was 24 pounds. It was a big boy. 24 pounds, 8 ounces.
Oh, okay, and then I was
That's the one.
26. That's right.
Yep. And then you came in, and you were like, hey, community, you're not taking my money.
That's right.
Here's this 26-pounder, 3 ounces. And then
this
I-
joke guy kind of all of a sudden picked up a 2-pounder. Who was this? Who was this guy?
I'm really good at finding tiny fish. But you know what? I wasn't even the best at finding tiny fish because Dan Pod posted a picture of like a 1 pound and
Yeah.
3 ounce fish or something stupid. And I was like, man, I can't even catch the smallest
He
fish on
just
this.
ripped the baby away from
stupid
his
lake.
mama.
I threw it back. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, so what ended up happening eventually is that the legend, the sniper himself, Dan Pod, he probably didn't use the default. He probably just used a
Yeah.
gun. He probably used a sniper rifle or something and shot the stupid fish.
Well, it says what bait he used, but it doesn't tell you what size line that he used. So we're just gonna have to, trust the honor system on this one.
All right. But so Dan posted a picture of a 31-pound, 12-ounce northern pike,
Holy
and that is
cow.
going to take home the gold and a $25 gift card to the place of your choosing. Dan, I'll reach out, and you can let me know where you want that going.
What
this
about
was-
this 63-pound salmon from Alaska?
No, we also had a picture of moose that caught a fish that. How tall are you, moose? Like 6'5". A fish that. How tall are you, moose? Like 6'5".
6'3".
It's the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It looks fake. It really does.
Like you sent that, and I was like, I'm sure this is actually real, but that does not look real at all. Oh my god, it's so big.
That's what she said.
And if you don't get to look at this picture, it's in our Discord, and the links for that are in the description. So get in there, get in the Game Pass Roulette channel, and check it out before it's deleted. And it'll probably be deleted before you get in there by the time this is released anyways. Hit Moose up on the Twitter. He'll send you a picture of his giant fish.
Congrats, Dan. Proud of you. And I think we're going to start doing this maybe bi-monthly or something. Do a Game Pass type completion story type deal 1 month and do a contest the next month with a Game Pass game. So
Yeah, I think it breeds a little bit of competition. This is, as Chaotic put, the first real one since Supermarket Shriek.
Supermarket Shriek.
that game. Oh, but it's the first time it's bred a bit of competition in
Right.
the community.
I'm pretty sure I took home the gold with that one. Where was the gift card then? Huh?
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I know me and Chocolate talked about this, Risky, but so if we don't get beat, the money goes in, and then we add $10 to the next competition, and it becomes
Yeah.
like a skin.
$10 is much better than putting in $25 every
Every
time we
time,
get
right.
our butts handed to us.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah, that sounds good to me though. We did have some feedback for the game. I'm gonna save Rockers for last, obviously, because it's great. This one is from Dan, and this is just a comment I took out of the channel. But he said this competition is messing with my perception of good fish. Any other day, this largemouth would be a slob, but right now I'm like, oh, you're not 30 pounds, into the garbage with you. Thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then also Chaotic, after he had thought he had the biggest fish, said, please don't make me play this game anymore. And then immediately after that, Moose posted a picture with a bigger fish. So he thought he was just going to get that one beat quick. Should have just held on to it. Chaotic posted it a few days before the podcast dropped,
Yeah.
and nobody would know what they have to beat.
I
That's
definitely
sniper
hooked
post.
into some way bigger ones, but I just didn't have the patience to sit there for 45 minutes and let him tire himself out, so I ended up snapping him off.
Yep. I think the biggest one I ended up with was like 15 or 16-ish. But, when you got the best anglers in the business out here, it's not
Right.
going to do much of anything. I even had insider info to some of the best spots on Miller Lake. I'm just not good enough, I guess.
They gave you a map and you still couldn't find the treasure, huh?
I went, I used my little fish scanner, saw the big fat fish, and then I'd cast, and then, I don't know where those giant fat fish disappeared to. Some
The
baloney.
hogs went away, huh?
Yeah.
That's where I found my 4-pounder.
I was probably searching the same spot that you were. All right, here's some questions from Rocker. They're a little punny. Did the game hook you?
No.
If there wasn't a competition, definitely wouldn't have. I'm not a huge simulation type of game person to begin with, and if I had to choose a sim, it probably would not be fishing, because I've never really fished in real life, so didn't hook me. How about you, Moose?
I liked it.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
you're obviously the real life fisherman of the group, so
No,
that
that's
makes
my
sense.
brother-in-law's. They just put me in the right spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm just
son
happened
of
to be I just happened to be the person that grabbed the rod when it went down.
It's okay. Chocolate. This wasn't for you either, right?
No, I'm... God, no.
All right. Next question.
Fish are
Does
yucky,
it-
huh, Bear?
My man servant could catch my fish for me.
I
Too
go to the grocery
slimy.
store.
Yeah, go boy.
No,
Go.
don't buy farm fish at the store. Moose can send you fish
No, no.
from Alaska.
Perfect. Do that.
Yeah.
I don't like fish. Am I bad? Am I a bad bear?
That's not why, but yeah.
All right. His next question: does it compete with cod? No, it's not even close.
I think he means the fish, not the game.
Oh, punny. No. The answer is still no. By comparison, I could see some saying it was a carp.
It was carp.
It was definitely carpy.
Carp. I ruined your joke. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Rocker.
he did.
I can't read. But maybe you thought it was fantastic. Nope. Maybe Moose did.
It was
And
fine.
he lastly said he can't wait to hear the debate. Bait spelled like bait out of
Yeah.
the tackle box. Thank you, Rocker,
Oh.
for that. I swear those are all his jokes, not mine.
Better than the game, his jokes.
Hey. Yeah, overall, a big old miss for me, just because it's not my type of game. I'm sure if you were a fisherman in real life and you needed to continue fishing in not real life, this is probably a perfect game for you. Chocolate, how about you?
I'm casting this one out into the bin. Oh, gotcha.
And Moose, the you might give it a good.
Yeah,
a hit?
I think we hooked us a trophy here.
All right, that's the punniest segment we've ever had.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can talk about our next game. Starting on March 11th, which is actually a Wednesday, oddly enough. Ori and the Will of the Wisps Wisps. Oh my God, this happened last time. I hate that word so much. Ori and the Will of the Wisps comes out March 11th. And then we're going to be talking about that game on April 7th. That's episode 98. So a little under a month to get this one played. It obviously doesn't come out for a week, so we do have a week off from Game Pass Roulette. So there's that. Get yourself ready. If you haven't played the first one, you still, I think, a week. If you've got a good amount of time, you can probably at least know what you're getting yourself into with the second one. The first one is great. I didn't get all the way through it, so this actually gives me some time to finish that up because I feel like I got decently far into this.
It's only like 15 or 20 hours to completion, I think.
Yeah, so I definitely have time to finish it up, so try to do that. But everyone else, you also have the time. So yeah, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, we'll obviously talk about it next week, or not talk about it, but I'll mention it again when it's coming out. And yeah, so that I'm excited about that one. That is going to be day and date in Game Pass.
The best value in gaming.
Boom, best value in gaming. All right, I think we're done here. So let's get into some news.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, Moose, what is going on in the news this week?
Well, I guess I should start off with our weekly health update.
Yes,
Achoo.
Can't wait.
Sorry.
So, COVID-19 or coronavirus is wreaking havoc in gaming still. Since last week, these are the new updates. Overwatch League has canceled events in China and South Korea. They were supposed to host events last month in China. Obviously, they're not going to do that since the whole country's on lockdown. And now they are canceling all their events for March in South Korea. Just, not worth trying to get more people sick and spread the virus. Also, GDC is going to be postponed to summertime due to high-profile withdrawals from the who's who of the industry. You name it has basically said we're not coming. So why host the event if nobody's going to be there? They're going to have full refunds available, and online stream versions of the presentations will be held in lieu of the show. Tech shows, go ahead.
I would say it's good that they're still kind of doing something. I
Yeah.
guess. Even if it's just the streams, it's kind of like not a total loss, I guess, but this is huge.
A lot of people have been working hard on all this stuff, so
Right. So
But this could be the way they move
right.
forward now.
This could basically
with-
just show them that we don't need to spend all this money on marketing and all these displays that we have built. We can just do an online Nintendo Direct type deal and have a panel at the show and call it good.
Yep, couple of streams, that's it.
So, this is kind of a domino effect of all the tech shows across the world right now are canceling to try to prevent further spread. There was an auto show in Germany that got canceled. Everything in Vegas right now, they're hurting because this is kind of the peak of their convention season. And it seems like everybody's just kind of afraid to commit and spend the resources to travel right now. So one company that is still carrying on business as usual is the company that's putting on E3. So if essentially they just say the show must go on, and they're watching the situation very closely, but they still have plans to schedule E3 as it is and continue, business as usual.
but like do you think that changes over the next few months? Like do you see people are already dropping out without the coronavirus being a part of their reasoning. Like
Yeah, exactly. But Sony and Microsoft is, across the street essentially at E3, but Sony's not going to be there. Nintendo is all but, a direct at E3 at this point. So,
right,
like
it feels
Chocolate said,
like Microsoft's the one
Yeah.
big one.
You could have just went to the last gaming show ever, Risky.
Which that's super sad. I mean, I love the idea of one, like, it's cool when I can't drive to them to be
Right.
able to experience them through the internet and do the demos through the internet. But when you have the chance to actually be at some of these conferences, it's a ton of fun being there. So,
And the
Kinda
amount
sad.
of money that people pay for these things. Like
right.
a 3-day pass for E3 is like $900 or something like that.
Ooh,
That's crazy. Go to PAX instead.
Yeah, right. So and then they don't tell you. Like at least last year, they didn't tell you what was on the schedule for each day until after you bought your tickets.
Perfect.
no, that was the same as XO19.
Yeah.
You didn't know who and what panels were on at what times until day of the show, maybe a week before the show.
So it's just at this point, it's just like opening a loot box. And hopefully you get a shiny gold
Yeah.
and Xbox shows up, or
Right.
maybe you get a bunch of whites and they're all crappy little studios that you don't want to hear anything from.
They just need
Exciting.
to turn E3 into a carnival of celebration of games, and let people show their demos for what's coming out this year, and kind of like what it is, but it doesn't have to be a consumer show anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
So, anybody got anything else to say about coronavirus?
It sucks and it should go away.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So, all right, let's move on. Last week, Xbox confirmed some of the Series X specs. So, they're confirming the previous details. The GPU is going to have 12 teraflops. That's twice as many as the One X did. It's going to push the frame rates to 120 frames per second, as well as be able to do 8K visuals. It's going to have ray tracing technology, as everybody probably assumed, which that's the new thing for the next consoles. It's going to have the SSD hard drive for quick resume of multiple games, not just one. So you can pause 3 or 4 games and jump in and out of each one without losing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Losing a step there. And then also they boasted their smart delivery system. So anything that's developed by Xbox is going to the way I understand it, it's all the same language, and just the higher upgrade systems just get more. Is that how it works, right?
So if you had a Slim and you were downloading, say Cyberpunk, it knows that you would be downloading the Xbox Slim version.
Or the
of
all digital.
Cyberpunk.
Gotcha.
Precisely. If you had the Series X, it would download the Series X version. So it would. They did this last couple of years, haven't they? Where they're trying to filter out all the stuff that you don't need
Right.
for your specific console, and now this is just I suppose, the next evolution in that technology.
Right. And, they did a bunch of 4K upreses and, remasters and stuff like that when the X came out. So I'm hoping and I'm assuming that they're going to do a lot of the, the back compat titles. They're going to go back and remaster them for the highest visuals. So that's cool. And it also includes a disc drive. So for all you hard copy fans out there, you
So
can
it's
still...
not going to be all digital.
Not yet, but I think they are going to have that other version that is going to be all digital.
Right.
So it's just not going
I
to
think-
be as beefy.
No, I think as one console, as they kill off one console, they'll upgrade to the next one, won't they? In terms of like the Slim will disappear at some point, and then you'll just have the X,
The Slim is a PlayStation.
the
man.
Series X. Okay, sorry, the
The
X.
sad box.
Yeah, and then they'll be just kind of take out the bottom tier and putting on the
Right.
newer tier.
Exactly.
So I'm sure you'll have that kind of constant flow.
Eventually, the Xbox One X will be the lowest tier that they have, that's compatible or capable.
Yeah.
So it's exciting news. I assume it's going to be about $500.
Yes.
So save your
I'm
pennies.
hoping less. I'm hoping less.
Yeah, good luck, Bear.
Yeah.
This kind of ties in with that. Cyberpunk came out last week and announced that owners on Xbox will get your upgrade free when it's available. So that just kind of ties into that smart delivery system. Hopefully a lot more third-party AAA vendors will, fall in line so that we don't have to pay to upgrade.
Why does CD Projekt Red just know how to nail their PR so well? And there's so many video game companies that are so bad at it.
Yeah, they could have used them over at Blizzard, huh?
Yeah, or Infinity Ward right now. With the
Yeah,
stupid
right.
Warzone stuff. Like, just hire one of those people.
Or GTX was stealing everybody's content and saying, "Oh, we thought that you gave it to us."
Yeah. Some people need to be looking at these guys because they, even like small statements like this that
Right.
aren't like a huge deal are a huge deal because nobody else is saying these things.
Right.
Their timing was on point because wasn't it within half hour?
It was
Not
same
even
day
that,
for
maybe
sure.
an hour of Xbox dropping
Yeah. All their
all
specs.
their info. Yeah, just superb. Absolutely superb. I think their actual quote was, "We don't believe anybody should buy the game twice." I can't remember the rest of it, but they don't, as you said, Moose. They don't want anyone to buy the copy twice just because they've got it for the
Right.
A la Nintendo.
Yeah,
No doubt.
but yeah, brilliant PR. Everything that's coming out with the Series X games coming out, it just seems it's all totally pushed towards the gamer, or consumer friendly is probably the better word to say.
Yep. Absolutely. So I do have to ask you guys, what did you guys do for the anniversary? You guys didn't celebrate?
I had to look at the story. I did nothing.
Nothing. Oh. Well, neither did EA or BioWare. But Anthem just celebrated its 1-year anniversary, and there were no tweets. There were no posts. There was nothing from the developers or the company that made this game. But the subreddit was going nuts.
Oh my god, dude. What?
So yeah, the fans basically had themselves their own little celebration, and they did make a note that Christmas is still going on in Anthem right now. It's snowing and there's Christmas decorations up everywhere. So maybe they forgot about this game. I know they say they're working on Anthem 2.0, but they said they were supporting this version of Anthem at the same time. So I'm just a little confused right now.
Such a
Poor
like.
Anthem.
Just when you think they couldn't screw things up anymore, like even just a tweet.
Yeah,
Like you
just
don't have to
happy
do an
birthday to
in-game
us.
event or anything. Just acknowledge it somehow.
Just a grumpy cat meme with a birthday hat on or something.
Exactly. It's nuts.
I still need to delete Anthem off my box.
Don't do
Yeah,
that.
you do.
2.0 is coming around here soon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're dreaming.
All right. So Anthem's still not dead. We'll give you an update next week. This is kind of weird. Did you guys see about this new Sony controller? The patent that they just filed?
I saw some weird stuff about it, like sensing if you're sweating and stuff. But
It's called biofeedback, and it's going to relay info back to the game to help modify the user experience. So, like you said, it can detect your heartbeat and your sweat from your hands through these sensors on the back of the controllers, and it can be used with the onboard monitoring system to tell when gamers are stressed and may need a hint or a clue to get through the game. So not only is it going to be watching how you play the game, but it's going to know when you're nervous, when you're super sweaty, when you're real gross. It's going to have all that information.
it's so weird, dude. Like what world are we living in right now? It's just I even
gross.
understand. I understand maybe like the heartbeat thing, but the whole
The sweatiness.
like the sweatiness thing just takes it to a whole new weird
Right. Is
level that I'm not comfortable with.
Like, is the back of it like a spongy material that,
Right.
it just like, it gets so dense after it soaks in so much of your sweat?
Like you're kind
But can you ring it out?
Yeah. You gotta like pull
Wring out
the
your
pads off
controller.
and wring them out.
the because we're kind of used to like if you wear like a smartwatch or anything, you're kind of used to things just monitoring your heart rate. Like,
Yeah. Your oxygen, all that stuff.
right. Like that seems normal, but as soon as you tell me that some machine is gonna like soak up my sweat and just analyze it for me,
Yeah.
it's like what?
Or all of a sudden it breaks into your game of Doom Eternal and it's like, your heart rate is 185 beats per minute. Maybe you should take a break.
Yeah, nothing like pausing the action when you're at your peak.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the red zone. You need to slow down.
Do you want to drop the difficulty down?
Yeah, exactly.
It just does it for you.
Yeah.
Let's try this on baby mode.
So weird, dude.
So yeah, the PlayStation is watching us, so it's good to know. Got some sad news up here next. The Konami code creator, I'm gonna destroy his name. I apologize ahead of time. Kazuhisa Hashimoto has died. The code was made famous in Contra, but it worked in just about every Konami game there was. It did something. So it's that up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. I think, is that what it was?
I think it was only one BA.
Okay.
And then start, maybe.
And that would give you the unlimited lives in Contra, and that was pretty much the only way anybody could beat that game.
Makes sense to me. And what's awesome is that this code will like continue to just be a thing like forever.
Yeah.
Like that dude's legacy will always be in games.
There's a little baby, like, they make all the toys, all the little baby like computer toys and phones and all that stuff. Well, there's a little baby video game controller, and if you put in the Konami code, it plays like a special song.
Exactly. Like what?
Yeah.
Not Fisher Price.
No, it's like the 1, 2, 3 leap or whatever that one is. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Or VTech. Maybe it's VTech. Yeah, I want to say it's VTech. But anyway, rest in peace, Mr. Hashimoto. Thanks for that sweet cheat code that, is a staple in gaming now.
I would say it will continue to be forever. It's awesome.
And then this next news dropped when I opened my eyes this morning. It was in my news feed. So the Final Fantasy VII demo is out now on PlayStation.
Yes!
So you can go out and check it out. And basically, it's enjoy the first chapter of it's the iconic Mako reactor bombing mission. And I think you can play the whole mission. So I need to go turn on my PlayStation.
Yeah, for the first time in ages. So I guess this is good that I skipped out on waiting in line for a ticket and then having to go at a specific time to go play this demo since they dropped. How
pissed would you have been if you wasted half your day to do this and then
exactly
wake up today and be like, you mother.
and like Lewis gung-ho about this because it's one of his like favorite games of all time.
Right?
And it's like, yeah. I'm obviously pumped for it, but I was like, he was definitely more on the fence about like waiting around and seeing what we could do. So yeah, that would have been awful if I ended up spending 2 hours or whatever waiting for this, and then it literally I could play it from the comfort of my own home the next day, literally the next day. Yikes.
And unfortunately, your progress is not going to carry from the demo. And they actually also put a disclaimer on there. They reserve all rights to change anything in the game from here to release. So yeah,
it's cool. This will be a good way for people to try out
exactly
the new combat system for sure.
And
so
you can switch back and forth, right?
What
is it like Halo where you can switch back and forth? I know not like gameplay, but resolution wise with Halo, can you switch back and forth with the gameplay in the Final Fantasy?
I actually have no idea how they're gonna do that. I would assume you can do it on the fly. I think it'd be weird if you kind of like had to pick one and then you were
stuck. Yeah.
Or maybe you can do it like in between battles or something like that. This definitely won't be a thing where you pick at the start and then you're stuck with it. So definitely give both of them a shot.
Yes, sir. So if you got a PlayStation, you got that to look forward to. If you got an Xbox, see you next year, bruh.
Woo!
So, and that brings us to our last story that I found this week. A little game called, is it Valorant? Is that the way you pronounce it?
That's how I would pronounce it.
Okay. It's a new 5v5 tactical shooter from Riot Games. There's about an 8 or 9 minute alpha video that you can watch. Shows you, it looks like a mix between Overwatch and CSGO. So it's a hero shooter. So each character they've revealed 8 of them so far, and they're aptly named for their unique abilities. Like there's a Viper, his abilities are poison. There's I think it's Volcano or Phoenix, something like that. Obviously their abilities are fire. They basically check all the boxes for your hero shooters and abilities that way. And it's set to drop out this summer. And like I said, it looks like a mix between Overwatch and CSGO. and I'm just looking forward to seeing more about this game. Customizable loadouts, so you're not stuck with just one shooting type, or you can pick whichever guns you want to go into the battle with, but then you also have your abilities with the hero shooter. So it's a different little tweak or wrinkle in these hero shooter games. So have you guys seen anything about this one?
Yeah, I think this was the one that they initially dropped as Project A.
Yep.
I think when we
It
talked
was.
about it way back when. So
Yes,
they
sir.
kind of showed off like a brief little slice of it way back then, and my interest was piqued just from that. I haven't
Right.
seen the new footage, but yeah, this was something I was excited for as soon as I saw it. So definitely keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet, but I'll definitely have a little look
It was
and see what's
It
going
was
on.
pretty weird. So it looked like kind of like Call of Duty, but within. So the video I watched, it was within Paladins. So like you have all these operators, but then somebody threw like a green gas bomb in the middle of the map, so nobody can see anything until you're like point blank in front of each other. So everybody's like running into the gas bomb and then like shooting wildly and then backing back out, and it was just crazy. So I'll try to find a link to that video and post it in Discord.
Sounds good.
But yeah, it looks weird. It looks cool, and I think they just needed to put some polish on it at this point. So
Yeah, and I feel like it's a company that you can at least expect a well polished,
Right.
finished product. So.
yeah, because they did what, League of Legends.
Right.
Yeah, so they're just trying to get into the Overwatch and Paladins, that hero shooter genre, I believe.
Why not?
Yep, everybody's doing it.
Say Bleeding
So-
Edge was
Yeah.
just a thing a couple weeks ago, and now have a demo for this in a month, I'm sure.
Exactly, and that, boys, is the news.
Nailed
Oh, that sound bit.
Games coming out this week. What do we got, Chocolate?
Not a great bunch, but we'll get through. So we've got Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and that comes out on March 3rd, which is the day of the podcast, is it?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so today on the PS4, we have Baron Fur is Gonna Fly, and that's out March 4th, and that's for the Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and the PC. Murdered by Numbers, which is out on March 5th for the Switch and the PC. And probably the biggest title of the lot this week is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and that's out March 6th, and obviously that's out on the Switch. But other than that, there's not a great deal.
I like that you called it Murdered by Numbers because that makes it sound like it's a completely different game than Murder by Number. Or,
Oh yeah. I don't know why. Listen, I just like to change the games ever so slightly when they come out. So,
That is a big change,
Murders by
Chocolate.
Numbers. It sounds a lot better though, and I'll be getting my colouring pencil out to make sure I get those murders.
yeah, thinking about the two different types of game that could actually be, depending on how you say the title, it's just amazing.
Yeah. It's a hard left or a hard right. Whoops.
We did get some new
Yes.
Game Pass games spare since we talked last week.
So yeah, 2 Point Hospital and what was the other
Yakuza
game?
0.
Remind me, Moose. Yes, and both have come out on Game Pass.
Yes, sir. Also Kingdom Hearts 3, but I think you said that last week.
I think I did say that. 2 Point Hospital, I'm going to try. I've seen some streams
So
of
is
that
that-
and looks
is it-
looks pretty
It's like
fun.
a hospital sim game.
It's like goofy, though. Isn't it?
Yeah, very goofy. So I would say the way I took it down, it was more like theme park.
Okay.
Was
Yeah.
it theme park? Yeah. So you have to build the hospital. You have your squares. You build
Right.
the doctor's office, for instance, and then there's loads of different kind of areas you need to work on, like the cleanliness of the hospital, trash cans, and then they have that brilliant element of they're not coming in with a broken arm or a broken toe. They're coming in as if they're all rock star singers, and you have to treat that illness. So it's all make believe, really weird out there
All right.
illnesses. It's quite cool.
Like coronavirus.
Coronavirus, yeah, I'm sure that's one of the illnesses, and I'm sure that's getting patched out very soon.
Did you guys see that Corona beer? Like almost 40% of people in the United States, they won't drink it now because of the coronavirus.
Oh my god.
38% of
Educated,
people.
you
Exactly.
Okay, did you see a tweet from one of the guys from Elgato? They mentioned something about coronavirus, stay safe, whoever it was. And all he tweeted was, I think, a picture of hand sanitizer and a beer bottle opener. And it was like, I hope I don't get these two mixed up. It was pretty
Well,
cool.
China has banned that plague game now.
Oh, Plague Inc.
Yes.
Yeah, they banned it. Anybody from buying it in China.
Oh my god. The world is such a silly place.
You betcha. Thank you, internets.
It's just the worst and best place all at the same time. That's what we've come used to, though. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the show this week. So
did it.
Yeah, we did it. Let's plug this thing up, though.
Thank you.
Head over to Apple Podcasts. Make sure to rate us, review us, all that fun stuff. If you'd like to keep up with us on the daily, we all hang out in Discord. Links for the Discord are in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show with your hard-earned money, head on over to patreon.com/CAG podcast. I'll have a post up sometime this month. I'm not going to give you a time or date because I'll miss it. So it'll be there by March 31st at the latest. So expect it March 31st.
Yep. Remember, people, he sets goals to appease, not to achieve.
Yes, thank you. Also, you can support the show through our merch shop, which is through Spreadshirt. We've got hoodies there. We've got snapbacks, bags, shirts, all that fun stuff. Links for that are in the show notes. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We are at CAG Podcast. And if you need to reach out via email for anything, cagpodcast@gmail.com. I am Risky the Kid everywhere if you want to find me. Chocolate, how about you?
Chocolate Bear 80 everywhere.
And Moose.
Moosenstein 8314 everywhere.
Alrighty, thank you everyone for tuning into this week's episode of Cross Atlantic Gaming. We'll catch you guys next week for an all-new episode. Goodbye.
Peace.
Later.
Moose, do we have a new type of joke for March?
Yes, we're going to go with St. Patrick's Day jokes through March.
Oh, okay.
All right, so what do you get when you cross a four-leaf clover with poison ivy?
Oh.
I don't know.
You get a rash of good luck.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
What do you call a fake Irish stone?
I don't know.
Go on.
It's a shamrock.
Oh, damn it. I was going to say that. Okay. What do sailors yell when they see an Irish shoreline?
What?
Ireland! Aho!
Oh.
Made you think that.
Yeah, well.
What happens when an artist has trouble finding inspiration?
What?
She draws a blank.
Okay, last one. Why don't you ever iron a four-leaf clover?
Because it would ruin it.
No, don't press your luck.
There's some, that is more quality St. Patrick's Day dad jokes than I imagined there would be, and that was you went 3 for 3 there, I think, with quality ones. So
We got 4 more weeks of this, so we'll find out.